Zuul'Goth just kills somebody outright, burns and freezes all remaining enemies, then creates 12 skulls, threatening to create even more carnage. Ctharrasque, aka Janet, also just kills an enemy outright, creates 6 cursed gems, which is brown, 6 yellow gems, and 6 fairy fire gems, which are green. All the colours it uses, which can charge itself up and do it again. As well as that, you got Leprechaun, explodes gems right off the bat, threatening to charge up the team straight away, on top of something like the Wand of Stars or another mana generator, creating loads of mana for the team as well. So if you're a player having trouble against these two, Zuul'Goth and Ctharrasque, how do you deal with them? Especially if you're a newer player and you don't actually have these troops yourself yet. Well, thankfully, they're quite easy to stop. Right, so like I say, you can come across Zuul'Goth on his own sometimes, who threatens to kill an enemy outright. You can come across Ctharrasque on its own sometimes, threatening to kill an enemy absolutely outright. So both super dangerous troops, especially in a team like this, where you have quick mana generators that can get them charged up really, really quickly. And I've made it even worse myself in this team as well. I've put them both in there at the same time. You've got a double threat of both of them with 2 really good mana generators. Like Leprechaun can cast straight off the bat, starting battle with full mana. And this will change to the prismatic orb due to the way the game has changed to combat people just using Wand of Stars continuously in the game. So, but it will still be effective. It will still be a good mana generator for the team if they get some matches, because these use opposite colours. So no matter what colour it generates, it's going to be useful for the team. And I've made it worse myself as well. I've even put them in Elementalist class, which a lot of people do to get those 4 matches and that burn, stun, freeze, entangle effect. And I've even taken it one stage further and given them the Broken Maze banner at the moment. Plus 3 red, plus 2 green, minus 1 purple. No 3 of their troops do use purple, but it's only minus 1 on that, and they get plus 5 on everything else with plus 3 red and plus 2 green. So that is definitely the best banner for them. So how do we fight a team like this? One of the best ways to fight these kind of teams is with a Godslayer. Now remember that Godslayers do extra damage versus the boss, doing between 3 and 5 times damage based on your ascensions. So a troop like this is going to be mega effective. Like Kendrala is one of the best Godslayers in the game, because I mean, look at that, like, she does damage to an enemy, and if they're a boss, do that extra damage, but then gain 12 mana if the enemy dies. So she uses 12 mana. She'll just get instantly charged and do it again. If we can get her charged up straight away, then we are absolutely flying. Now, she is one of the ones that uses blue and red, so what if you can't use blue and red? But there are plenty of other options as well. She was just a good option for this team, because you may notice I'm in Archer class. What you're trying to do in this, because basically this is a mana race. Whoever gets charged up first, if you can beat that enemy team to the punch, get one of your Godslayers charged up, take out Zuul'Goth or Ctharrasque, whoever's got the most mana at the time, you are going to be well ahead of the game. So what we're going to do, we're going to type in gods to there, or Godslayers, whatever you like, and that brings up all the Godslayers. But like I say, we want to match up as best we can to take advantage of various bonuses in the game. Like King Avalorn is an elf, gives all elf allies a 50% start with mana, which is a good thing to do. So what we can do, we can type in, where am I going, elf. And this brings up our elf Godslayers. This is how I come up with this team. This is how I ended up picking Kendrala, Blood Jewel, and Leora Mistveil. So we got that. But say you can't use them troops because there's a restriction, then you obviously have to change things up. You can obviously change things up by maybe construct. There's 3 different constructs. Like, all 3 of these are Godslayers. So they're still going to do that extra damage versus the boss. And in Geomancer class, you can get a 50% start with construct troops. So let's go over to that, show you that quickly. Just customize. There you go. All constructs start with 50%. So just a good way of getting a nice head start. And make sure you've got Godslayers, and if you can, with a 50% start on mana. But we'll stay with this team for now. The banner for this I've gone for is a +2 green, +1 yellow, -1 brown armoured banner. It is a warband banner, but there'll be other banners available. But Essence of Evil, another really good defense against these Godslayers. Get a 50% start in your class, and make sure you've got a really high chance of getting charged up first. If you can't start with a 50% troop like King Avalon, start with Leprechaun maybe, so you can cast that and maybe get this charged up immediately. Chuck it on one of those bosses and they'll be just nullified and made absolutely useless. Right, so here we go. Here's our team versus their team. This mega dangerous team with these two instant kill boss troops versus our team with a couple of Godslayers, King Avalon and the Essence of Evil. Let's jump in and see how it goes. With that 50% start on our Godslayers, got a decent chance of getting the mana we need first. We are frozen on green, but this is where it may be actually worth not taking something like that. If we got an option on blue or red, we maybe would have been better off taking one of them, because basically if you get charged first, then you should win the game and take out one of their troops. But that's not happened, so the fact that we've got green there, and the fact that their Leprechaun obviously explodes green, we kind of got no choice but to take that match there and see what happens. Right, so we now got some red for our Kendra. We can take this first because they're not frozen on brown. Don't use brown, but you may get a cascade which helps you out somewhere. Again, it didn't happen, so it's not like I'm getting a dead easy game right now. But Kendra is up and she's ready to rock and roll. So as you see, we beat them to the punch straight away on the manager, and let's take out Zulu Boy. She got charged up straight away again, and Zuul is gone. And that is the meat and bones taken out of their team absolutely straight away. The only weakness about this kind of team is they're not mega effective afterwards, because most of these Godslayers just tend to do a moderate amount of damage, then with a small side effect of something else afterwards. Like Leora Mistveil here, she summons a Mistlark after that, but doesn't do a huge amount of damage in the meantime. This is where something like Essence of Evil comes into it now. Really, really useful. Inflict all negative status effects on an enemy and explode magic +1 gems of their mana colour. Even if that was Wonder Stars, that wouldn't have got charged up. And because silence is one of the benefits of Essence of Evil, they're screwed kind of thing. They're not going to do anything now. You may as well now cast this. We've got a nice little boost on that. The Fairy Fire effect of Essence of Evil really, really helps speed up the damage. Yeah, Leprechaun's going to get to cast, but so what? Let's just concentrate on getting the rest of our team up, and we will finish them off. We've only got brown available, so we may as well do a bit of damage. So it's not obviously super duper mega quick afterwards, but it is quick at the beginning when you actually wipe out those bosses nice and fast. Whoever gets up first now, Essence of Evil or Kendra. Let's get up Kendra. Give her a little bit of glory. She was the one that done the good stuff at the beginning. Well, let's just show that one more time. But I'm not sure if I said it at the beginning, so I'll say it again now. You don't obviously have to use these exact troops. You just have to use Godslayers to make this work. I'm using these because they're elves, because King Avalon gives us a 50% start with mana. But you can actually change it around. Let's actually do that. Let's show what I mean by... Like if you've got certain restrictions, for example, you may not be able to use certain troops. So let's just show how we can swing it around. Let's go construct, for example. Got 3 different choices here. You can pick 2 out of the 3 best ones. This does damage to a boss, explodes gems. That is quite useful. This does damage to the boss. If the enemy dies, gain 12 life and armor. Gets doubled. Not super useful. Explode 4 webbed gems, which may not be there, so we like Adakite. That sounds good. And that was probably the best out of them 2, but the extra life and armor doesn't do us a lot of good if we are dead. But they use opposite colours, so we'll use them. We'll now switch to Geomancer class, because we want to take advantage of the 50% mana start with Geomancer. Like that, and we can now swap out King Avalon for anybody you like. Obviously this would be dependent upon the restrictions on the region you're fighting at, but let's say for example you can use Leprechaun, because obviously if the enemy can, that means probably you can. Let's chug old Leprechaun in there for a nice little quick start at the beginning. Right, so basically the same theory applies. I'm not even going to muck around with the banner, I'll just leave it as it is. No, let's do it properly. Let's not be lazy. Is that good? No, because we don't want yellow. Let's go minus yellow. Still like to concentrate on getting Essence of Evil up if I can, because that is a real stopper for the enemy. Or Adakite, that is good as well. Got 50% start on them. Yeah, let's do that. That's fine. That is fine. Alright, so let's jump into battle. Just swung it around a bit into construct class using brown. It's not a bad start on brown. We can get some purple and brown at the same time. So even though Leprechaun is ready to cast, it is frozen. And there was a fair amount of green around there, but this gives me green and purple at the same time. If I get a mana surge on brown or purple, both my Godslayers could be up in one go here. So we've got 1 out of 2. That's not bad. So now, shall we cast this straight away? This is where you have to make your own sort of decision on the game sometimes. Now let's actually get rid of one of their troops like that. Because if we get any yellow or purple now, we are absolutely off to the races. I'm going to cast this on them because I don't want that to do anything. And the Godslayer was up anyway, so we're not in any rush. We can now just get rid of them. Now we can now go about taking out the rest of their team at our leisure. Let's chuck that on them. They get extra damage and they just died anyway, probably because of the death mark or something. And now we can just finish off Leprechaun. It was like super duper mega straightforward. We are entangled. That's a bit of a bum ache. We'll deal with that bum ache. It will happen in time. Give him another cheeky little wallop there. And another one. We'll just wait for the skulls to come along. Get Essence of Evil charged up. Shot Leprechaun down. He can now die from either death mark or from running away in terror or just a random skull hit. And the job is done. So, yeah, those bosses. Ctharrasque, aka Janet. Zuul'Goth, aka the Moldy Courgette. Not as terrifying as they first appear, even if you don't have those troops yourself. So there's a video. If you enjoyed it, it'd be really useful and helpful if you bash that like and subscribe button. It really does help. But most of all, thanks for watching. I'll catch you again in the next one. Bye for now.